Kaieteur Radio, keeping you informed.
Demerara and Essequibo 99.1 FM.
Burby's 99.5 FM. Kaieteur Radio.
Good day. Welcome to your news at noon on Kaieteur Radio. I'm Kevin Smith. A landmark ruling by High Court Judge Justice Sanil Kissoon has found that the country does not have an insurance package from Exxon's affiliate Esso that meets international standards. Justice Kissoon made this conclusion after reviewing documents presented to his court in a case filed by two Guyanese applicants last year, September. In that case, two citizens called for the court to examine Esso's compliance with the insurance provisions of its Liza Phase 1 permit. The court found Esso to be in breach of the provisions which called for an unlimited parent guarantee agreement. Esso had also sought to convince the court that Guyana was in receipt of a credible insurance package from Ancon UK Limited, an ExxonMobil subsidiary. The energy package policy covers the Liza Phase 1 and Phase 2 projects. Justice Kissoon was keen to note that such a policy, which is noted in the press to be $600 million per oil spill event, does not satisfy the stipulation and obligation set out at Condition 14.5 of the environmental permit. Justice Kissoon said the permit imposes an express and specific obligation on Esso to obtain environmental liability insurance of a certain criteria. And moving on, the recent ruling by Justice Sanil Kissoon ordering ExxonMobil Guyana and the EPA to comply with provisions of the Liza Phase 1 permit is a significant win for all citizens, so said Attorney at Law Melinda Janke. Janke reminded that Justice Kissoon has given ExxonMobil's local subsidiary, Esso, until June 10, 2023 to furnish the state with an unlimited parent liability guarantee from ExxonMobil Corporation. Janke, who formed part of the legal team representing the case filed last year, said it now paves the way for more Guyanese to hold authorities accountable on respect for the rule of law. The lawyer also noted that the demand for unlimited parent company guarantee is not, as some persons claim, an impossibility or impractical ask. The Guyana Police Force on Monday said that it has recovered two knives at the crime scene where Kerwin Mars, popularly known as Sir Mars, was brutally murdered. According to the police report, efforts are still being made to determine the motive behind Mars's murder, and the suspect remains on the run. The 51-year-old Mars of Lot 211 New Settler Street, Maka, East Bank, Demerara, met his demise at around 22:30 on Sunday at Plantation Providence. He was reportedly stabbed and run over by an unidentifiable male. According to the police, their investigations revealed thus far that Mars and the suspect had a misunderstanding that escalated while they were in a car. As a result, both persons armed themselves with knives and dealt each other wounds. And moving on, the fifth day of the walk for a renegotiation of the lopsided Stabroek Block production sharing agreement continued on Monday, with Ray Daggers clocking a distance of a little over 15 miles. Accompanied by Kaieteur News publisher Glenn Lal, Daggers began around 9 hours 10 at Bat Settlement, West Coast Berbice, and ended around 14 hours at Belladrum, also on the west coast of Berbice. A number of villagers stepped out of their homes to support Daggers by walking with him to the end of their respective villages. As they walked, they shared stories of their daily struggles and called on the government to renegotiate the lopsided ExxonMobil contract. You're listening to Kaieteur Radio, 99.1 and 99.5 FM. This is your news at noon. We'll return shortly after the break.
Wanting to protect your family during these difficult times of COVID-19 is natural.
Stay at home, wash your hands often, and don't touch your face.
Yes, Daddy.
But are you doing these things too? And do you practice social distancing? Do you keep 3 to 6 feet away when you're shopping? Or at least stay an arm's length away in the supermarket? Remember, children learn from adults. So if you're not obeying the precautions, neither will they. We have to work towards the new normal together to keep our families safe and protected. Be part of the solution, don't add to the problem. Teach by example and do the right things.
A message from the Child Care and Protection Agency, Ministry of Human Services and Social Security, and UNICEF.
Welcome back. 30-year-old Kesey Edwards, a laborer of Friendship, East Coast Demerara, and former policeman Mark Cromwell, called Diamond or Demon, a 41-year-old businessman of Vigilance, East Coast Demerara. The two men, who were allegedly caught on camera severely beating a traffic cop, were on Monday charged and remanded to prison. The defendants appeared at the Sparendam Magistrates Court before Magistrate Rochelle Liverpool, who read the charges to them. Edwards and Cromwell are accused of assaulting Constable Harlequin on May 5th at the Pleasance Line Top. And the first hearing of a legal challenge against the Environmental Protection Agency permit granted to ESSO for the construction and operation of a 12-inch natural gas pipeline will take place on Thursday in the High Court. The pipeline is a component of the government's gas-to-energy project and was authorized by the EPA on November 25, 2022. Two citizens, Elizabeth Dean Hughes and Vanda Radzik, on March 27th, filed the proceeding through their lawyers Melinda Janke, Abiola Wong Innes, and Joel Ross. The citizens are seeking an order of certiorari to quash the decision made by the EPA to award an environmental permit to ESSO to undertake the gas-to-energy project activities, on the grounds, inter alia, that the decision was in breach of the provisions of the Environmental Protection Act, and more particularly, the Environmental Protection Regulations. The installation of the Demerara Harbour Bridge's Span 9 is a massive undertaking that requires adequate preparatory measures. Span 9 being transported to its mooring location south of the Demerara Harbour. Minister of Public Works Bishop Juan Edgell, providing an update on Monday, said several factors must be considered before the new span is installed, stressing that there will be no disruption of the bridge without proper consultation, planning and adequate notice. Minister Edgell told the Department of Public Information that the technical team is putting systems in place for a speedy and effective installation. Meanwhile, the government of Guyana on Monday announced that it has made its second withdrawal from the Natural Resource Fund this year. Some $200 million equivalent to 41.6 billion Guyana dollars, was withdrawn, bringing the total withdrawn so far for 2023 to 83.2 billion Guyana dollars. Senior Finance Minister Dr. Ashni Singh, in making the announcement, said that pursuant to Section 16 of the NRF Act 2021, the $200 million US, equivalent to 41.6 billion, has been transferred from the Natural Resource Fund to the Consolidated Fund to finance national development priorities. In February, government made its first withdrawal for the year, amounting to 41.6 billion Ghana dollars. And opposition leader Aubrey Norton has lambasted Vice President Bara Jagdeo for displaying what he deemed grave ignorance regarding the recent High Court ruling on the parent company guarantee for the Stabroek Block oil operations. Norton was at the time addressing supporters of the APNU on Sunday evening at the launch of the Georgetown campaign for the upcoming local government elections. He said that Jagdeo at his press conference on Thursday spoke of unlimited insurance, whereas the judge in his ruling made no mention of such a thing. The opposition leader explained that there must be a parent company guarantee, and even though there is an insurance policy in place, ExxonMobil must cover the costs, which its limited liability company, which is ESSO, will not be able to cover. And just before we go, we must turn the pages of today's Kaieteur News to page 7, dedicated to being blunt. A Guyanese is walking against Exxon's vile contract. Guyanese have a chance to show where they stand. One man walking the walk from Berbice to Essequibo. It's time for Guyanese to stand up and walk for their rights. Time to stop talking and time to start walking. The world is watching, Guyanese. Are you moving? And that brings us to the end of today's News at Noon. I'm Kevin Smith. Thank you for listening.
This is GHK Lal inviting you to join me weekdays from Monday to Friday on the National Outlook for commentary on a range of issues. Immediately after the 12 noon and 7 p.m. newscasts on Kaieteur Radio at 99.1 FM and 99.5 FM. Looking forward to you sharing in the conversation.
Tuesday, May 9th. I'm GHK Lal on Kaieteur Radio, 99.1 and 99.5 FM. Welcome to the National Outlook. I trust, my sisters and brothers, you've had a good start to the week and you're ready for Tuesday. It's midday, so hopefully your day is going well. We talked yesterday about the judgment coming out of the High Court in respect of unlimited insurance coverage by ExxonMobil for Guyana. Now, almost immediately coming out from the government of Guyana, following that ruling by Judge Kissoon, the government is appealing the High Court decision, ordering Exxon to provide unlimited insurance to Guyana. That was also in last Thursday's Kaieteur News. The Attorney General has the responsibility as the chief legal officer of Guyana to lead the case, to gather other counsel to file the appeal. And the government has already made its story clear. We are filing an appeal against Judge Kissoon's ruling that orders Exxon to get unlimited insurance coverage for Guyana. I have a problem here, my fellow Guyanese. My problem is this. Why are Guyanese going against Guyanese? Why is the government of Guyana going against the people of Guyana that elected it into office? The government of Guyana is the PPP government. It could have been the PNC government. I don't care. The government has to represent you, and it has to represent I. It has to look out for us. And I think what the judgment that came out of the High Court says is that we are exposed. You heard that yesterday. You must have read it for yourself last week, and all the conversations you've engaged in. We need insurance, and it's more than $2 billion. The Macondo oil well blow-up, $75 billion US so far have been spent by British Petroleum, now known as BP, the one that the explosion that occurred in the Gulf of Mexico. Where humans are, there will be human error, and there will be human failure. We have all those oil fields out there. Exxon is raising the bar on itself every day. It's over 400,000 barrels a day now. It's past the recommended safety limits. But here is the government of Guyana ignoring that through the EPA and now challenging a High Court judge's ruling. I'm the Attorney General. I'm speaking to the Honorable Attorney General directly now via this program. He may not hear it, but I'm just about certain that someone of his people is going to hear it and share it with him. Either way, I'm happy. Honorable Attorney General, you are my brother. I expect you to look out for me, and you are not looking out for me, sir, when you lead in the filing of an appeal against the judge's ruling. Guyanese parliamentarians went up when insurance came up a couple of months ago. They were up in arms. Why are we fighting each other, colored people, so that the white man benefits? I have white family, believe it or not. I have white friends. So anybody who wants to paint me with any kind of brush, they're coming at the wrong guy. Here's the story here. When anybody, the black man, the Indian man, the Amerindian man, or the white man exploits me, I have got a problem with that. When anybody endangers me, I have got a serious issue with that. And so should you too. And so should the Honorable Attorney General of Guyana also. I think he has a duty to say to his government, to his leaders, to his seniors, listen, this one I'm not taking. This one I'm resigning. I'm GHK Lal on Kaieteur Radio 99.1 and 99.5 FM. You were listening to the National Outlook.
Kaieteur Radio.
Covering Guyana from coast to coast.
Demerara and Essequibo 99.1 FM.
Berbice 99.5 FM. Kaieteur Radio. Kaieteur Radio, keeping you informed.
Demerara and Essequibo 1 FM.
Berbice 99.5 FM. Kaieteur Radio.
In other words, Uncle, the judge saying there, you cannot put a figure on an unlimited